The highest baling pressure, the shortest chopped length, and the highest throughput are useless if the binding system does not work reliably. In addition to the binding unit, the binding material and external factors such as temperature and humidity also play a major role. Pertinger has developed a binding unit to counter these influences that can be adapted to your requirements. The feed unit ensures that the binding material is reliably fed into the baling chamber at the beginning of the binding process and is cropped when it is finished. In order to keep the binding time as short as possible, the feed unit moves into position shortly before the bale is finished. This ensures it can respond immediately when the binding signal is given. The number of layers and the breaking effect can be pre-selected using the control terminal and saved separately for net and film. The start of the binding process can be triggered manually or using automatic functions. Regardless of whether you used net or film binding, the basic components are the same. The standard net binding unit can optionally be upgraded to film binding on the Pro models to include an additional roll holder. No matter whether fixed chamber or variable chamber, whether solo, FV, or combined with a wrapper, FC, VC. The standard binding unit includes a roller holder with a hydraulic brake. The net is pulled wide in the guide unit up to the edges of the bale, or depending on the net width, over the edges. Cylindrical bales without shoulder formation are the result. Perfect for wrapping, transport, and storage. The maximum size of the binding material roll is 310 mm in diameter and 1400 mm wide. The standard roll holder can be upgraded to film binding by adding a tail binding unit. Tail binding means that the film is tied in a braid for feeding into the baling chamber and cropping at the end. This improves the feed-in performance and increases reliability. The binding process can be monitored using the camera installed. It is possible to switch between net and film by changing the roll and feed-in, as well as pre-selecting the setting at the control terminal. The additional roll holder with roll brake saves you the effort of removing and inserting the heavy rolls when changing between film or net. Both types of material can be installed and then changed quickly and easily by manual threading. When selecting the new binding material, the control terminal always retrieves values last saved for the number of layers and brake settings. Using binding film prevents the bale from expanding when it leaves the baling chamber. The density of the bale remains constant and no air can enter. This provides optimum conditions for the fermentation process. More success with Pertinger.